You guys went crazy on the niche version of this video and hit the like button over 1,200 times between all of you who watched it. So I just want to say thank you. And as promised, here's the designer version. But before we get into it,
you know I like to do things before we get into it.
It boggles my mind how few people hit the like or the dislike button on videos that they watch, especially from creators that they frequent. I imagine that those of you who never hit those buttons watch videos like this. Now, maybe you're watching while you're at work.
Sounds like you're not being very productive.
Or maybe you're listening while you're driving, which I totally understand. But if you appreciate even a tiny little facet, a minuscule morsel of my content on a semi-regular basis, maybe help a brother out. Take a quarter of a second, hit that like button at your next red light, or maybe in between emails, in between customers. It helps the channel out more than I can express to you. Thank you so much. So I'm going to dive into these 10 designer fragrances that, as you can see by the title, I will be wearing the crap out of this summer. I've ordered them up, not from worst to best or anything like that, but mainly from what I've featured a lot on this channel to what I've featured very little on this channel. But I just want to give you guys the stuff you've seen already from me first, and then transition into some of the newer stuff. So let's dive right into it. First up is not only a fragrance you've seen me talk about a lot, but probably one you would expect to see in a video like this. This is from Hermes. It's Terre Eau Givrée. Honestly, this is one of the most perfect summer designer fragrances that I think you could ever spend money on, but at the very least put your nose on. It is so perfectly suited for the hot weather. This is cold, fresh grapefruit, a little bit spicy, fruity, a tiny bit sweet, but very cooling, basically like lowering the air temperature type of cooling. It smells cold, it smells frosted, it is uplifting, it is sharp, it's zesty, but it still has a little bit of this sophisticated quality to it, which makes it versatile. It makes it something you can dress up or down. I cannot recommend this highly enough. Once again, you've seen me talk about it a lot. You've seen others do the same. Terre Eau Givrée. Another one that I have been no stranger to sharing with you guys. Definitely not a super special fragrance, but not super generic, not run of the mill. Has a little bit of a personality. This is from Bvlgari. It's called Man Rain Essence. Lovely scent profile. This is supposed to depict the feeling, the cooling nature, the solace, the peacefulness of rainwater from the sky, the clarity of that type of freshness. It is wrapped up here. Lotus flower is what brings the watery nuance here, and it is so authentic. That is blended with some tea, so even more calming vibes up in here. Really just adds to the freshness, but don't be alarmed, it does have a nice masculine depth from some dry woodiness in here. Something that is clean, relatively soft in personality, but present in presence, if that makes sense. Easy to wear, easy to enjoy. Bvlgari Man Rain Essence. Let me know what you think if you've tried it. Of all the fragrances in this video, this is probably the one that is most talked about beyond my channel, but I haven't talked about it a whole lot just because I didn't have it for a while, but I recently got it back into the collection maybe a handful of months ago. This is from Varvatos. It is Artisan Pure. You've seen it before, you might even own this one, and I would imagine many of you guys would endorse this as a wonderful summer fragrance. It is citrus based with some masculine florals, with some woods, with some petitgrain. Petitgrain is like the leaves and the branches of the orange tree. You do get a little bit of that kind of leafy, woody quality behind this bright, juicy mandarin orange and clementine to create a brightness. Just smells clean. It smells masculine. It smells kind of white t-shirt out in the sun during the day, but a little bit more dressed up, a little bit more elegant than just heading to the beach, removing that t-shirt, jumping into the water. No, this is maybe lunch on the patio. This is a walk through the neighborhood or whatever it is that has a little bit more elegance to it, but nonetheless so easy to wear. That is Varvatos Artisan Pure. Here's a fragrance I was heralding just recently in my Cartier fragrances video. If you missed my video ranking all 13 of the fragrances from Cartier, which is in my opinion one of the best and one of the unsung heroes in the designer realm, do check out this video up here and you'll see the praises I sang and have been singing for a while of Déclaration Eau de Toilette. Man, this look at my face through this bottle. I need to find it. This is just
not attractive.
Declaration is a masterpiece. It's a timeless masterpiece if you're asking me. This is a fresh, spicy, citrusy, leathery, woody fragrance. Now, there is a little bit of this personality that might not be for you, and that is the cumin note. The cumin note is a spice that is known to smell a little bit BO-ish, a little bit funky. People say sweaty. I don't get that vibe really much at all from cumin for whatever reason, and I have seen people say that they mostly get that vibe from paper. On their skin, not so much. So keep that in mind. If you do happen to sample this fantastic fragrance, get it on your skin, let it waft to you, get that cardamom, get that bitter orange in the air. There's a distinctive freshness about it, but it is utterly sophisticated. It is purely masculine. This is created for men and masterfully done by Jean-Claude and Lena. Check out this fragrance. If you've been sleeping on it, please wake up. That is Declaration Eau de Toilette. This is going to be great for summer days or summer nights when you want to have more of a refined vibe. Up next, we have my scent of the day. This is a special fragrance because it's one that takes a fruity floral profile and makes it masculine. This is from Kenzo, from perfumer Quentin Biche, and this is called Kenzo Homme Marine. This is a fragrance I like a whole lot more than I thought I would when I kind of blindly picked it up. It is, I believe, frangipani based, maybe even a ylang-ylang. I can't remember. It's a yellow floral that has a sweeter kind of banana tropical feel to it, which we see a lot of in women's perfumery or a lot of in unisex fragrances. But here it is made pretty fresh and aquatic, almost this coconut feel, but not overtly so. There's something about it that keeps it masculine. It might be the aquatic nature. Maybe there's some woods grounding it. And like the other Kenzo Homme fragrances, it has an unusual amount of longevity. It just kind of sticks around on the skin and it persists, and it's something that is going to be great for a casual day. If you're going to find yourself going to the beach for most of the day, you can spray this on and pretty much rest assured you're going to smell it throughout most of the day. This one is no slouch. It's simple, but it's very pleasant. It's very suiting to the type of scenario you might wear it for. That is Kenzo Homme Marine. This is one I might reserve more for the evening time, but I think it can work also daytime, but I also might dress it up a little bit more than just a regular old t-shirt. It deserves that. This is from Brioni, another designer brand we don't talk enough about, and this is called Brioni EDP Essentiel. And this takes the fantastic DNA that has so much cohesion to it. It is a fresh fragrance profile that has a nice little bit of a fruity sweetness, this kind of musk that creates the staticky feel that runs throughout the scent profile with a woody base, and it makes it leafier. It gives it this tomato leaf vibe. Tomato leaf adds this really unique dimension to the scent. There is, I think, a bit of tonka bean in the base that is very tastefully used here. It adds a really nice amount of sweetness that you primarily get in the air, kind of wrapped around this green, leafy, fresh, musky, woody scent profile. So good, highly under discussed. That is Brioni EDP Essentiel. This is a fragrance that is brand new to the collection. I wore this earlier today before I put on the Kenzo. I wore this to the gym, took a shower, and then put on the Kenzo. But this fragrance kind of barely made it into this video. It was that wearing I did to the gym, which was its first full wearing for me, that kind of solidified its spot in this list and in my rotation for the summer. This is from Costume National. It's called Cyber Garden. Now, I'm not going to say this fragrance is phenomenal, amazing, groundbreaking. No, it does have a little bit of something familiar to it. It smells green and soapy and fresh. Kind of right off the bat, you're going to be reminded of slightly more old school, like maybe early 1990s style fragrances. That type of cleanliness. Now, if you like that, if that is nostalgic for you, then you're probably going to really love this fragrance, especially at first spray. It's going to take you back. But there's something very contemporary about it, and I think it's the vinyl note that might sound weird. It might even smell weird, especially up close, but I like it. It is this kind of plasticky texture. It doesn't really smell like vinyl, maybe, but I more so get the texture of it. When it enters the nostrils, it affects the freshness of the scent in a very peculiar way that you may have never experienced before. But all in all, it is a pretty easy scent profile to wear. Again, I wore it to the gym, had no problems, had pleasant conversations with people. No one was turning their nose or getting distance from me or saying my fragrance smelled weird. It smells fresh and clean overall, but it is different. It does have some uniqueness to its personality. So let me know if you've checked this one out. This is Cyber Garden from Costume National. Up next is a fragrance that is also new to the collection. It is slowly growing on me more and more. When I first smelled this, I liked it because I liked this DNA, but it wasn't as differentiated as I was hoping for, at least on a blotter. But I've given it a couple full wearings. I can't say I absolutely love it now, but I do like it more than I did before. This is from Hermes. It's H24 Herb Viv. And this, to me, it takes the EDP version, which I love, which is this green kind of metallic, mossy, almost banana sweet type of fresh fragrance, and it replaces that odd banana feel that people seem to either like or not like. I happen to like it. Replaces it with this cooling fresh pear. It's like this fleshy, sauce-like, cold, fresh pear, but it's pretty subtle. There's something in here that adds a little bit of this bitterness that offsets that sweetness just a little bit, which I do like. All in all, it does remind me a lot of the EDP. In some ways, maybe a little bit redundant and maybe more so than I was hoping for, but I do like it. Again, I like it more, and I think I'll continue to like it more as I continue to wear it, but I do need to warn you guys, I didn't get the most present longevity out of this fragrance. I actually had trouble detecting it after maybe the 5-ish hour mark. I got to do some more testing. I think I've seen other people corroborate that as well, but don't let that be a reason to not check it out. The scent is wonderful. I think you'll really like it, and it's something that you can wear for just about any occasion, but know that you're going to smell a little bit different than the average fragrance out there. And if you got to reapply, so be it. Didn't really bother me, but I know a lot of you guys asked, so I figured I'd let you know. That's my experience so far, but more to come on H24 Herb Viv. And our final two fragrances, this fragrance is another one I like even more than I liked it the first time I tried it. And I was so happy to learn that my wife likes it as well when I wore it. And she kind of confirmed some of my first impressions. This is from Zadig and Voltaire, the only fragrance I own from this brand. And this is called Him Vibes of Freedom. Don't really care for the name of this fragrance, but the scent is nice. If you look at the note breakdown, there's parts of it that are pretty typical and there's parts of it that are a little bit odd. There's a fresh soapiness from lavender. There's some fresh spicy cardamom. There's sparkling mandarin orange. Those are very typical elements, but mixed with incense, you don't see that very much. And I can say that the incense adds a little bit of this cooling, wispy smokiness behind the clean, soapy, fresh, spicy quality. And I don't know what it is, but when I first smelled this, the way I described it was almost like an aquatic or shower gel-ish black orchid from Tom Ford. There's something kind of tropical floral coconut about this. And when I first wore this around my wife, we went to the gym the other day and I wore this. She said, that smells so good. It smells like coconut, almost like suntan lotion, but masculine. And after the workout, she gave me another compliment, said, man, that stuff smells so good. And I honestly surprised because I didn't think it was super special, but the more I've spent time with it, I'm like, I don't really know anything else besides that weird concoction I just described to you that really smells like this. So I want to know what you think of Him Vibes of Freedom if you've tried it. If you haven't, there's going to be links to everything down in the description. I think I forgot to mention that you can try all these fragrances down below, so do check them out if you haven't already, and let me know what you think of this one if you have checked it out. And this final fragrance, again, this isn't really in order of my least favorite to most favorite, but this is once again newer to my collection compared to the others, and it is one I am enjoying more and more. I have seen lukewarm reviews about it, which I was surprised about. I find it to be really nice because I've always liked this collection. I can't say it is an utter standout, but I do think it is exceptional as far as modern mainstream releases go. From Narciso Rodriguez, we have For Him Vetiver Musk. If you know this collection, you know it is musk based. So yes, we had to expect musk in this fragrance. It is a soft, warming, cottony hug type of facet to the scent profile. That might sound weird, but when you smell it, you just know it. That is made pretty fresh, but not overly fresh because the musk is pretty warming. I think there's a cypress note in here, adds a green woodiness, but it is softened once again by the musk that is just kind of the puppet master here. And the vetiver here is on the clean side. I can't even say I really detected all that heavily, which I was surprised about because vetiver is not shy on my skin. It always comes out to the forefront no matter how tucked away it is. It's dry and clean, but I don't get that overly bitter, woody, grassy feel. It's just clean, almost like the Tom Ford gray vetiver type of vetiver. Does not smell like gray vetiver at all, so don't get me wrong. There's something kind of almost minty about it, and there's a really, really slight touch of sweetness in there. I can't say where it's coming from, I'm not sure, but it is a tasteful touch. But that that's about it. It is a fairly simple profile, but it does smell like nothing else aside from being related to the For Him collection. Pretty soft scent profile, doesn't project a whole lot, may not last all that long. It is an eau de toilette, is not meant to have a strong and long lasting presence, but it might. It really depends on you and your environment. But I want to know what you think of Narciso Rodriguez For Him Vetiver Musk. If you've tried it, and if you haven't, maybe check it out at the links down below. I'm gonna be wearing these among many others, of course. This is not the only 10 designer fragrances I'll be wearing. But once again, I want to know what you think. If you've tried these fragrances, let me know down in the comments. Check them out down in the description. And thank you so much for tuning in. Peace. I'll see you in the next one.